you have to ride them waves.
Charlotte Soccer Show is back. What's up, Tifos? How's it going? Danny Brams here. Our third episode of the week, which means it must be a pretty big week. Massive showdown with Miami coming up Saturday night at the Fortress. MLS history on the line. Charlotte looking to win 9 straight, tie the record that the Sounders set back in 2000. And all is well. Things are looking good. If you've been watching some of the shows earlier this week, I'm feeling pretty good about the matchup. We're hoping the Messi button malfunctions for Miami, and some good news that we can just talk about right now. This video just about an hour posted ago by Danielle Stein, one of the local reporters. Pep Biel looks like he's back in practice. That is good. We should probably get some more definitive word from Dean Smith before the matchup at his press conference. But Pep Biel being back can only be a good thing if it is indeed the case. He's jogging there a little bit. We don't know how the whole full training session went, but that's some exciting news. We can't wait to welcome the magician back because we're going to need him. We today have a very special guest for you that I am very excited to introduce, and we're going to bust out. We haven't done this in a while, but we're going to bust out the old flashback introduction and take you back to the early days of the Premier League, the early 1990s. And look at these goals being scored here by this blonde wizard with the free kick, with the flying header. And then you got to watch this one. Ball bouncing around and boom, just put a little toe on it. And absolutely epic goal there scored by Warren Barton, who joins us now. Warren from Apple TV, longtime pundit for Fox Soccer Channel. You grew up, if you watch soccer growing up in this country, you grew up with this guy. And we're so happy to welcome you in, Warren. What about those goals, man? Good stuff.
Yeah, you did well to find them. Most of them are in black and white, so it was good that you got a bit of colour. And obviously, being in the Premier League with Wimbledon that time there, and then spending the majority of my time with Newcastle, and then coming over. That was actually my first goal in the Football League to score against Neville Southall, which is a great Welsh goalkeeper. This one was at the Kop against Bruce Grovelar to tie the game, make it 1-1. And again, this was the first. Yeah, and this one was against Leeds, John Lukage, which was the first game in the Premier League for Wimbledon in 1992. So anyone that asked me, yes, I did mean it. It wasn't just a hoof down the field. So it was a lob over there. But it was, it's great to be in the States. I've been here now 17 years. I've been involved with the MLS. Fox, as you rightly said, we've got the World Cup coming up in 2026. I was involved in Euros, Champions League, Premier League. And like you, and just see the game grow, how it's got to where it is today, where you're talking about a sellout stadium at Charlotte against Messi and his team. I think that's a wonderful achievement by everybody. And again, Dean Smith, who I've known from my time back in England as well, is doing a magnificent job. I've been to the stadium, I've seen the fan base. So yeah, really excited. I mean, the Premier League is obviously the pinnacle of where most players want to go, but MLS now is a great destination. The facilities you've just shown there, people getting warming up and training facilities at First Land, and Charlotte a big part of that. They've set the tone, they've set the atmosphere, and it's a game that everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. We have a saying around here. Glad to know you're a Dean Smith fan because we are too. We have a saying. We say Dino's at the wheel. That's the tone that he set from his very first training camp when he took over the squad. And life is good in the Dean Smith era here at Charlotte. Best manager we've ever had for a club that's only 4 years old. And good things. Warren, we're excited to have you because you're known for not pulling your punches on your commentary. You will call people out when they deserve calling out. And, I think what a lot of people have been calling out in the build-up to this match is Luis Suarez. He's going to be missing for some uncouth actions in the League's Cup. Dean Smith will be missing because he's got yellow card accumulation, which I didn't know a manager could get yellow card accumulation, but I guess it's true. Who's got the better end of this deal? Suarez out for Miami, Dean Smith out for Charlotte. Who's that hurt more?
I think because of the run that Charlotte's on at the moment, and Dean maybe not being on the touchline, I think Charlotte have got the added spice with Suarez because he is such a a big time player, Suarez, and rightly so suspended. I mean, it's disgusting, what went on in the scenes in Leagues Cup. And I don't even want to give it airtime because it's not worth it. I wasn't surprised that it happened, but I don't want to give it. Great credit to Seattle. They won the game fair and square. And I think everybody was like happy that they did do it, how they won the game and went on. So I think Dean not being on the touchline is obviously a loss because he is a hands-on coach. And I love the fact you like Dean because he is honest. He'll give you he won't hold punches. He'll want the best for his players. He'll be honest with the players. He'll protect them when they need to. And I always sense a good manager by having a good run. I mean, now you're going into where you could be breaking a record, like you said, with Seattle to win 9 games. I mean, that's a magnificent achievement. When you've gone to Cincinnati and won games, Atlanta, you've played tough games against New York Red Bulls, which was looking to get. I know they wasn't great away from home, but you still won the game. So I think you're on a great run. I was there for Leagues Cup with Juarez, where it wasn't a good performance. Dean had just flown back in. He'd had his own personal problems. He had to be away. But I think Charlotte have got the better because I think you've got leaders in that team. Wilfried Zaha is starting to look like the player. And also the leader that we want. I don't think he's going to be a vocal leader and grab everybody, but he sets the tone how he plays. He's starting to assist and starting to score vital goals. He's a big time player. I've always been a big fan of his when, he started off at Manchester United, went to Crystal Palace, So you've got players that can handle big games. Obviously, you go with Tim Ream at the back. What a signing he's been, and he's like a fine wine. He gets better with age. He's got good experience. Obviously, he's calming influence on there. So you've got what I'm trying to say. You've got leaders on the field that can get you through difficult moments. And Dean will have his plan set out. He'll know what he wants to do against Inter Miami. And I think Seattle give everybody a bit of a blueprint that they can't defend. They can't handle transitions. They can't. If you get up and defend very well as a unit, they find it difficult to break you down. They want it open. They want it so there's spaces everywhere and it's chaotic. If you don't allow that, then you've got every time. And Dean's a very good coach in managing certain moments in the game. So that might be an area. But I think he'll have his plan. He'll have his coaching staff, what he's got ready to go. He'll be prepared. And I think you can tell I'm a big fan of Dean's and the way he does it. And I think he's enjoyed it. I spoke to him actually when he was at Austin last season or the season. Yeah, this season.
Yeah, I was at that match. Yeah, it was a good one.
He was talking about how refreshing it was to be at a club and have his identities, where in the UK you've got the baggage. Oh, we did it this way. We used to do it. He's got in there and said, no, we want to do it this way. He understands the public, understands the city where he is and what they want to do. And Charlotte have took on to the MLS, and it's a fantastic place to play your soccer. So it would be a great game, and it's a sellout. I mean, that is a magnificent. When times are high financially, and you've had Leagues Cup, you've had games coming along. But again, with or without Messi, I think a lot of people will be going to support the team and cheer him on. Yes, there'll be neutrals that want to maybe see Messi, but I think a large part of Charlotte will want to see them get a result and qualify for the playoffs. And I fancy their chances in the playoffs. I do, because Dean will have them defended very well. They've got 2 excellent goalkeepers now, 2 top class goalkeepers, which is a challenge. And as I said, things are going well for them.
Yeah, we had the best. We had the reigning goalkeeper of the year, and they brought in a top guy to compete with him because Dean loves that competition for places in all spots. I'm loving everything you said there. I do think Charlotte FC is sort of the standard bearer for professional sports in the city right now. The NFL and NBA teams are not really carrying their weight. So yeah, it's nice to think of people going to see this match as Charlotte fans, not necessarily Messi fans. And what you said about the play style, Wilf Zaha spoke to media for an extended period yesterday. I'm going to play a soundbite of his in just a second. But one of the things he said was someone said, how do you get past a guy like Sergio Busquets in the midfield? And he said, just run. It's not that hard.
It's true. The game's not complicated. I mean, Sergio Busquets has been arguably the best 6 for over a decade. But he's never been quick, and no one's as quick as the ball. And if you can bypass him and run with the ball, I wasn't as quick as Wilfried, so maybe it might be easier for him than it was for me. But he's still a talented player. But yeah, I love the fact that Wilfried is, is aggressive in what he's saying. That's run past them. That's one thing they can't do. They as I said, transition. They find it hard to pick you up. So it should be an exciting game.
Yeah, and Wilf has been that leader that you mentioned. He showed his leadership. He was asked about his leadership style, and he said, I'm not a vocal leader, just like you're saying. You're echoing what he said with his own words, which is, I lead by showing, by doing, by playing and holding myself to a standard and expecting people to meet that standard. And he was asked about Lionel Messi, and he said, well, I can't play against Messi. I'm a winger. I'm not going to be the one to contain Messi, but what I can do is set a tone, and this is a great soundbite right here.
I know Messi is one of the best players in the world, but if we're just focused on stopping him the whole time, we forget that we can hurt teams too. And I just need to be focused on what I can do, or what we can do to penetrate their defense and score.
We can hurt them too.
Yeah, no, you can. And I think their back line, in particularly down the middle, are wanting. I mean, they're not sure about their fullbacks. They are vulnerable. You know, they are a team. And I love the fact that Wilfried is saying that. You know, we do come to terms where we say, Messi, I would disagree. I think he's the best player that's ever played the game. He's not one of the best players, but that's just my opinion. He's not from this planet. He's from a different planet. Maybe 5-6 years ago, but he still has that magical wand that he can do. But I do agree with them. You know, we get caught up in this world about them and how great they are. How about what you can do? You know, we're talking about, maybe I'm going off on a tangent here, but we talk about the US and the World Cup's come along with Mr. Pochettino about, oh, well, we wanted to see what they're like. How about what you're like? That I've been brought up with that mentality with the likes of Sir Bobby Robson, Kenny Dalglish, Kevin Keegan, these great managers that, yeah, we respect the opposition, but we don't fear them. You go out and play against them, and afterwards we can shake hands and swap shirts and business. But Inter Miami will be more worried about Charlotte than Charlotte should be worried about Inter Miami, I think, because they can't defend. They get caught wide open. They've had a lot of players traveling international soccer, traveling away, coming back, particularly in that midfield area. So, it's going to be a tough game and a big occasion, but I think they're ripening for Charlotte to win. And I love the fact that you just said that, the NFL team is not doing great shakes at the moment. They haven't done for a while. The NBA team as well. And great for a town like Charlotte that have took on board. I live in San Diego, California, and everything around here was about that. When I come along was the Chargers and the Padres. That's all it was about. Baseball. But all of a sudden, MLS has come in. Mm-hmm. San Diego Football Club have clinched the playoffs. They was top of the Western Conference. There's a lot of excitement about here. So cities are now changing people always love the Padres, and obviously the Chargers have left now and gone up to LA. But there's still an underlying current of young players and young people that are enthusiastic about their team. And I think it's a great achievement for a San Diego, for a Charlotte, that type of market that are looking at their players and their squad of players and taking them under their wing and pushing forward. There's a great fan base down here, 25, 26,000 people turn up. The same with Charlotte. We're talking about a sellout, maybe because it's Miami, but there's still been great capacities there, 30,000, 32,000 behind the goal cheering everybody on. So I think it's great. And I do agree with Wilfried Zaha. I think Charlotte, as I said, can cause more problems to Inter Miami than just saying, well, we have to look after this player. Of course you respect it. Of course you understand that. But time moves on, and this is a great opportunity for Dean Smith to get his team back going. International duty's been going, so I'm really looking forward to the game.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying about San Diego. One of my favorite cities I've ever visited a few times, for sure, and very impressed by what Dreyer and all them are doing out there. I am contractually obligated to bring up every time they're mentioned that Charlotte completely dismantled them 4-0 here at the Fortress earlier this season. So we don't fear San Diego whatsoever. Let's look forward a little bit as we wrap this up, because it is a very tight race in the East. Miami's sitting there with all those games in hand. Charlotte now is in the top 4 and hoping to stay there with 5 matches left. Miami has 9 matches left. They have literally twice as many matches as us, essentially. But there's a lot going on in this East. You said you liked Charlotte going forward to the playoffs. What do you like about them, and what's the ceiling?
Yeah, no, I think Philly, for me, have been excellent. They haven't missed a beat. I think anyone in the MLS should look at Philadelphia, the way they bring the young players through with the academy, the way that they run their business. I think they're an excellent run franchise to do that. Charlotte just end up in the other 1 or 2. Cincinnati, we know, have got an excellent coach, and although Charlotte went there and won, they're very, very strong at home. So I don't see any problems with 5 games. I'd rather have the games under my belt than have you have to play Saturday, Tuesday after a long season, after international windows, after people have been involved in Gold Cup. We had a lot of a busy summer that's gone on. So I think from that point of view, I'd rather have the game. I see Charlotte, being in the top 4. Not that I don't see it a problem, but I think they won't lose at the weekend. Now, hopefully they can get the 3 points, as I said. But you've got, New York City where you fancy. You got, home games. DC are not been great this season, so you think you can go there, and that's a great game. With Philly and Charlotte last game, but I think that'll already be done. I think both teams will already be qualified from that. Not too much travelling as well, so that's quite pleasing to do. And I think he's in a great opportunity, Dean Smith, to get 3 out of 5 wins in them, which is quite capable. And I think you'll be home and dry in the top 4, and you won't have to worry about travelling and stuff like that in the early stages of the playoffs.
Yeah, would be a club record for points at that point, at 59 plus for sure. I do look, I gotta rue just for a brief moment of lapsed concentration in Subaru Park with a few seconds left, giving up that stoppage time winner to Philadelphia. It's a 7-point gap, could be sitting at a 5-point gap, and in that case, maybe
don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. You're not ifs and buts.
Yeah, well, it would be amazing if that decision day showdown was for the number 1 seed in the East. I do kind of tend to agree with you realistically that Philly.
Listen, if Manchester United didn't beat me in 95, 96, I would have had 2 Premier League medals. But it's all ifs and buts. But that's what happens. That's what happens. But it's part of the game. Why we love it. As I said, you're in a great position, Charlotte, and they're looking for what do you think? I'll ask you, because obviously you've been there since day one with the club. What has been the change, particularly in the last 18 months to a year? And it can't just be Dean Smith. Why they have been so competitive and been so prepared to play games? Because that's what I feel. Every game they go into, I feel Charlotte have got a game of winning. Where you asked me 2 years ago, I'm thinking, no, it's maybe a little bit too much for them to get a result. Like you said, to go to Subaru and be seconds away from not getting the points, what do you see the difference?
So to me, I think it all started with Ashley Westwood coming in as the captain, even before Dean Smith. Dean Smith came in and definitely imprints his vision on this club, but things started to change with Ashley Westwood. And I remember a preseason friendly, Westwood's first season. They were playing just against one of the local USL clubs here in the Carolinas. It might have been Charleston Battery. It was some smaller level club in the last friendly before the regular season was to start. It was a free admission for season ticket members, Bank of America Stadium, and Charlotte had gave up. They conceded a late goal in the half, and so they were up 1-0. They conceded a late goal to make it 1-1, and Westwood stomped off the pitch, yelling at guys, saying, "This isn't good enough. What are you doing?" And this isn't a preseason friendly. And that was the tone set change right there that we needed from 2022, the opening season, where it just seemed like we were hapless going into the next year, where Westwood started to set the tone on this club. He's 2 different men on the pitch and off the pitch. Off the pitch, he's like the most gregarious, friendly guy, smiley game show host type of guy. And then on the pitch, he has like the most yellow cards in club history. So he's definitely a guy that leads by example as well, and his captaincy is really what started the change for Charlotte FC.
And I always find that's a way of setting the tone. I think it's not only the manager, but you need your senior players, and I think because of their relationship at Aston Villa, they would have known each other in the Premier. So that gives him a little bit of comfort to say things, to point the finger at things. And I think with Westwood, he's always been one of them players that he will be critical on himself, but he also demands things. And then, like you said, Tim comes into it. Tim Ream, his standards are high. Wilfried Zaha, standard high, and that has a knock-on effect with the younger players. It has a knock-on effect of how you train, and it can't always come from the coach. So yeah, that's quite encouraging to hear that you've had a player like him in a pre-season friendly not being happy. That's one of the things when I try and call a game. There has to be accountability. Now, whether it's a coach tactically not doing it or a player not doing it, we can't. This sound that America, oh, my bad. We know it's your bad. Don't keep doing it. That's my thing. And as I said, I've been in this country 17 years and seen the game the game grow, and accountability now. I think, I used to speak to coaches and say, well, I've got a 3-year vision. you don't get 3 years to have a vision. It's got to be not instantly, but you've got to see progression going forward. And that's where I think San Diego have done great with what they've done. There's been progression. Their challenge is going to be next year and the following year and the following year, because the standards are being set so high. But that's really refreshing to hear that you have an experienced player taking leadership and pushing people on, rather than what we see senior players in Leagues Cup. You know, that's the other thing. If I'm a young player into Miami and I see that, I've got anarchy. I can do what I like because the manager don't do anything. The captain's not going to do anything. Yeah. And I made that point, you know, so I can do exactly what I like because your superstars are doing it. And that's not how you have a successful club and franchise moving forward.
Well, everything you're saying has gotten me even more fired up than I was, 20 minutes ago before we started this. It's nice to know that someone with a professional eye and so much experience can see what the same kind of, advantages that Charlotte FC can exploit on Saturday. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to your commentary the rest of the season, Warren, through the playoffs. And I know that you've got your eyes on that 2026 World Cup, ready to just have a grand month here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico next year. Thank you for everything you've done to grow this game in America. You're one of the voices that has been for 15, 20 years. I've been watching you all over the air, and it's great to have you here today.
Yeah, you're showing your age, because Fox Soccer, when it started in that little room 20 odd years ago, was the start of it. But I'm proud to see how the game has grown, and have a nice cold beer before the game at the weekend, and maybe a couple afterwards when you celebrate the win.
Yeah, that's that happens quite often, my friend.
Good.
So
I'll be disappointed if it didn't. Good man.
Yes, we got a pub like literally 2 blocks down from the stadium that we always meet there pre-match.
I tell you what, next time I'm there, I'm going to take you up on it. I'm going to go and have a drink in the bar afterwards. I'll come and meet you.
Sounds fantastic. I'll be there. Sounds great, Warren. Well, we sign off with the saying, "For the crown, baby." If you want to say Charlotte FC, it's for the crown, baby. You'll send us out of here, my friend.
Charlotte FC, baby. Charlotte FC.